Good afternoon and welcome. We are live, and I'm with the legend, the man, the myth, David Rahman.
Is he
The
here as
well? How you doing, buddy? Good to see you.
Thanks. Yeah, good, great. Happy Friday, and yeah, it's gorgeous. It's actually nice and sunny here in Wales. What about where you are?
Yeah, it's nice, overcast, but it's still warm. It's still kind of summer, isn't it? It gives you that good feeling, doesn't it?
Yes. Heading into bank holiday weekend here in the UK.
Yes. So yeah, for us, we do get Monday off, or well, those of you that aren't running a business will get Monday off.
Yeah. True. Having to explain that is difficult at times.
It is always work like a maniac. So today we're talking about how to turn negativity into positivity, because this is something I think we all face. Do you ever find it, guys? Some days you just get out of bed, you stub your toe, and your mind tells you, do you know what? Things aren't going to go my way today. It's going to be one of those days. And we tend to find that then the negativity builds up and builds up. And how many times can we remember that negativity becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy from the minute we wake up? And I remember listening to, I think it might have been Bob Proctor. Bob Proctor, you come across him? Yeah, many years ago.
Yes.
Yeah. And I remember him saying that, wakes up in the morning and he puts one foot on the floor and says, thank you. Other foot on the floor and says, thank you. And has that attitude of gratitude right from the moment we wake up. But what I'm hoping here, David, is that, being positive is your forte, isn't
it? Sorry?
Being positive is your forte.
Yeah, it's something that I was listening to Mary Morrissey earlier on, and she was talking about similar to what Bob was saying, that she said, you opened your eyes this morning. Not everyone got that opportunity. I thought, oh, that's mind blowing.
It's deep.
Really, yeah, that's a shift. And Tony Robbins, who everyone knows, Tony Robbins, and Tony Robbins says it's not about positivity. It's really about how you look at the world. It's about progress and perspective. And I think about positive or negative. I'd rather be positive. And I've been an optimist since I was a kid. I've always been an optimist. I think you are too, isn't it? I think you mentioned it before.
I can't help myself. I always look on the bright side. Yeah, and I think it's a habit. You have to get into a habit.
And I think as well, some people have. We talk about personalities, but if you look at people's personalities from when they were babies, there are a certain type of personality. So you might have twins, and then one is quiet and just likes to, play with toys, and the other one is more crazy and out there and running out through the front door, and mum's not looking, And I think that we have these personas, which is, if you think that confident people have to be loud, then don't think that, because you can be quiet and confident, or you could be loud. So being optimistic is, I think I was born that way. I was just always, even though you get knocked down, I always just would want to get up. And my father always said, you're very tenacious. But I just look at life as naturally, like yourself. It's it's a habit, but it's just what's a habit? It's something we do all the time. I think we were just naturally like that. There's no way I had an easy childhood to think that would construe to make me feel like optimistic. It's just naturally natural. But do I think people can learn it? Yes.
Yeah. I think that's really key, isn't it? Because some people are a natural optimist as a result of whatever happened to them as in their childhood, or whatever the nature nurture argument is always that thing, isn't it? Are you born like it, or did you learn those things? But that's one that will go round and round in circles. But what we know for sure, and particularly with the research and the stuff that you teach, is that we have the ability to change our mind, to reprogram it, and to make us think in a positive way. Optimism is one of those things, because you'll meet people all the time, and it seems alien to me when I meet somebody. You presented with a scenario, and you can choose to think of the outcome as positive or negative. It's the old analogy, isn't it? Is your glass half full, or is it half empty? And always looking on the bright side is something that can be taught. It can be learnt, but it takes a focus, and you have to actually employ the tools to make that happen. And we talk about this kind of stuff a lot, don't we? It all starts, and I started at the beginning of this. It starts from when you open your eyes in the morning.
Yes, you open your eyes and you start thinking. It's inevitable. And the first thought, what time is it? I think the most people, they just wonder, what time is it? I mean, some people have said to me, they'll say things like, "Where am I?" after a night out. But generally we say, "What time is it?" And we check this device, and because of that, whatever's showing up on there besides the time can influence us straight away. So if anybody out there is thinking, right, I'm having a lot of negative mornings, just work backwards and find out, okay, what are you doing first thing? What do you think you're thinking about? And if you want to be highly practical, you can always just keep a piece of paper with a pen by your bed when you wake up, and just write down what you're thinking. If you want to really go to town on this, and there might be somebody out there who will say, right, that's it, I'm going to do that. My best ever clients will actually go to that length and say, right, that's it, I'm going to write down my thoughts first thing. And they will do it because they want to deconstruct. I like that word, deconstruct their morning routine or their way of thinking. Because when you do that, it's like, wow, it's like looking under the hood of a car. Oh, that's wrong. And you can only do that by opening it up and having a look.
I think you're right. One of the things that I did a long time ago was stop keeping my phone by my bed. Because, if there's things that are on your mind that are going to, we all have challenges in life, things that we worry about, and most of the people that we deal with are entrepreneurs. They're people that have got worries. It could be worries to do with your clients, it could be financial worries. It could be challenges to do. It can also be stuff to do with when you're at home. When you wake up, if the first thing that you do is you start worrying, and then you pick up your phone and you've got emails or messages that add to that anxiety, you're off on the wrong foot. So that's why I'm a massive advocate of a morning routine, of making sure, it's our responsibility to actually make sure that from the moment we open our eyes, we're trying to have that positive mindset. The morning routine, I know you've got loads of really good tips on this, is one of those things that can positively affect our minds from the moment we wake up. So for me, getting rid of that next to my bed was a really big positive step forward. And I actually don't touch my phone for the first at least half an hour in the morning that I'm awake.
That's an excellent way to start the day, to be honest. Every day I swear by exercise. And if anybody out there says I don't do exercise, well, what I would say is, do exercise. And you can do something. And I've talked about this before, the app, the number 8 Fit app. Use that. 11 minutes of that is about 165 calories. So just do something, because your mind will thank you. You think you're working your body out, you're actually helping your mind at the same time. And it's so, I've never looked back since you do exercise. I can't, if I don't do exercise first in the morning or something, it's not a, it's I have my worst days, and it impacts the rest of the day. Even if I've got a class booked in for later in the day, I'm still going to do exercise first thing in the morning. I'm still going to do something, because it wakes up the whole body mind connection, the whole thing. Because I think I did the morning mindset for Blam once, and I talked about when you wake up first thing in the morning, your cortisol levels, which are your stress hormones, are actually at possible. I think it was Matthew Walker, the sleep expert, who said that your cortisol levels are at the highest between 5 and 7 in the morning. So when you're waking up, your cortisol levels are quite high. Why that is, he doesn't explain in his book, but I'm just going to say, if they're at their highest, what can you do about it? And the interesting thing is, exercise will bring it down rapidly, because exercise, it immediately presses the button on dopamine, serotonin, all the nice hormones. They wake up, and then their levels increase, and then the cortisol drops. So that's a great scientific argument.
I didn't know that about cortisol. That's quite fascinating, isn't it?
Mm.
Because effectively what that's saying is, whilst we're asleep, we're stressed.
Yeah, we wake up and we stress. And interestingly enough, the REM sleep does happen prior to that. We get most of our REM sleep at that latter part, when we're in the dream state. Because if you notice, when people wake up, oh, I've just woken up from a dream, because that's what's been happening. The way the brain works is, when we go to sleep, the brain is busy downloading the information from the day, making sense of it, erasing and deleting stuff it doesn't want, but keeping the others as memories. And then it cleans out the brain. It actually has a brain wash, which actually physically happens. The brain shrinks by a fraction of a millimeter, and then the cerebrospinal fluid goes in, cleans it. It actually cleans, it has to clean it, because we produce a lot of toxic stuff in our brain, metabolites. We need to clean it. So the brain actually does have a cleaning system, which is relatively new scientifically. So it's very clever, but people don't realize that sleep is so important. And then we have that dream state, that's the REM state. But somewhere along the line, our cortisol level does rise. Yeah.
That's fascinating, that is, isn't it? I mean, you'd have thought the opposite, wouldn't you?
You would, and I was blown away by that. But you wake up, and if anybody's out there, you wanna do something. As Grant says, just fight this, because it's not a positive device. It's very useful, but it's definitely not a positive device on many levels. And then get going with the exercise. Get going. Do something.
So to reduce that cortisol, we need to release the endorphins, the stuff that gets you in that positive mindset. Exercise is a big one, isn't it?
Exercise is huge. Yeah. Even in the middle of the day, if somebody if you're worked up and you're feeling stressed, get out, go to the park, go for a walk. Your cortisol levels will drop. Just change where you are, because we're talking about positive mental attitude here. It is an attitude. So can you imagine that you're in you've made 7 calls. Some have gone really well, some haven't, but for some reason your heart is racing, you're feeling anxious. Don't stay there and fight. Just leave and go for 20 minutes for a walk. Just do something that's different, and then your body is going to respond, because there's no way you're going to be able to show up on a call, on your 8th call, at your best self if you're stressed or anxious. Your potential client is going to pick it up.
I think it's exercise is such a massive part of the mindset of so many entrepreneurs. And Theo, who I do a bit of work with, who you might remember from the boot camp.
Yes.
He's recently discovered exercise, and he's now absolutely committed, and almost can't believe he never did it before. because staying positive has a massive influence over, or is influenced massively by when he's doing his training.
Yes.
And I've advocated for exercise for years, and I'm trying to step it up a bit now as well, because I really do think that the benefits to exercise are sort of they're numerous. It's not it's the obvious. It keeps you healthy.
Yeah, definitely. And one day I'm hoping one day I'd like to go away with a group of fellas, maybe like yourself, and then we could all do something. Do something which will test us and challenge us, because I think that would just be an amazing journey.
Funny enough, I'm just putting together something like that at the moment. I am, yeah. I've been working on it this week. So yeah, it's as you may know, I was kind of put through my paces a few weeks ago by Jojo, and he's a massive advocate for putting your body through extreme, passing right past your limits in order to expand your mind and help you realize what you're actually capable of. So as a result of that, now we're putting together an even more extreme program.
All right.
That's 4 days, 3 days out with some SAS guys out in the sticks, doing some proper extreme stuff. That includes all the things that the SAS go through. Not just necessarily, you don't have to be super fit to do it. It just challenges you physically, mentally, and every single one of these challenges that they do through the SAS has got a metaphor that goes with it that can help you. Because when you're facing challenges in life, when you've been shown what you can actually achieve, that you think there's no way you'd ever be able to do it, and then you actually do complete it, challenges in life seem a lot less challenging.
Yes.
So it's interesting you should say that, because it's something that I'm on a bit of a journey with that at the moment, just to see, how can I challenge myself more? And I'm doing it specifically because it's about my mindset. I want to. It keeps you uplifted. It keeps you positive, and you have to get outside your comfort zone in order to have those moments of comfort that are nice.
You've got this contrast. Then you know what's possible, and how far you can go, and then when you're on a downtown, you can just the contrast. How far you've come out your comfort zone compared to the average person.
Yeah, and a lot of us, we go out of our way. Our brain is designed to keep us safe.
Yeah.
So the reason we seek comfort is because we're not going to get eaten by a saber-toothed tiger if we stay comfortable and safe.
Yeah.
But the things that I think it was you that said to me, like, we often talk about cold calling, don't we? Or like last week we were talking about the fear of what other people think of us, and that fear is the same as the fear of death.
Yeah.
Because our brain's programmed to keep us safe. But obviously, we haven't got to worry about being eaten by a saber-toothed tiger anymore, hopefully. But our brain doesn't know the difference, so it will put that fear into us, and it's the same fear as death, as public speaking, cold calling, presenting, all these things in business that can challenge us and make us feel really uncomfortable. That's our brain trying to keep us safe.
Yes, our brain is really good at it.
Yeah.
Been around for a long time. It's programmed that way. Interestingly enough, science is showing now that epigenetics, which is the science of genes and how information can be passed down through generations. So the information you have in your genes currently does contain information from someone. It could contain information from your grandfather or your great grandfather, and I'm really interested in, are emotions carried down? Because what science is finding out, that your skin, your eye color, your hair, all that is carried down through generations. We know the physical characteristics, and we were all taught that our genes code for our physical characteristics. But what about emotions? Are people born with certain emotions wired in already and have to overcome that? You know, are some people born with something that was passed down through a generation? And that's what the science of epigenetics is actually about. It's so fascinating. But the great thing is you can actually change that. You can actually, the most fascinating science happening right now for me is that can you program your mind to change your genes? And that's what they're finding. I don't know if you've ever read any of Dr. Joe Dispenza.
Yeah.
Fascinating. It talks about how you can reprogram your genes. So can you, because you've got certain disease in the family, does it mean you're going to get it? Yeah, the answer is no. But it's there. It can be switched on or off. But where does the mind and the mindset, where does that come into it? So, yeah, I think there's so much to be said about keeping that your mind, because you can be thinking negative thoughts all day, which is true, but keeping the positive thoughts, keep that high, because of course the negative thought could be, is my wife okay? Are the kids gonna be okay in school? And are they, because we worry about stuff like that, you know, are they going to be okay when they walk home? And because some people are warriors, and that's it. But to challenge everyone out there, think about what you could achieve if you didn't have these fears, you know. And there's something that Bob Proctor said recently, which I thought was amazing. And he said, faith and fear are basically the same thing. They have the same power. They both demand you to believe in something you can't see. And I thought, wow.
Yeah.
That is so brilliant. Faith and fear demand you, both of them demand you to believe something that you cannot see.
Yeah, and that fear crops up all the time, isn't it? And in terms of, you know, thinking negative thoughts, you know, fear is fueled by time. You know, I say this to partners a lot. You know, if you've got something that you're worrying about, you know, the fear that is causing that worry is fueled the longer you leave it without doing something about it. So if we want to combat fear, combat the negativity that fear feeds on, is take action. Do something, make a decision, keep moving forward. Because, fear feeds on time. And you know, the longer you leave something, the bigger the fear gets, the more difficult it becomes, the more the negativity keeps going off in all sorts of different directions.
And we think about, you said it there, make a decision. And the people I know who are the smartest in business, for example, and successful, they make decisions quickly. They don't
like
you know, they're there. Indecision will steal away opportunities from you. So for everyone out there, if you can work on a part of you, really, I would say work on your decision-making skills. Make sure that your this and your gut is connected quickly. Connect this and this. If we're up there, we're overthinking, and we don't make a decision, and you could lose so much business through that. Or it could be anything in your life, like a relationship. So, once we marry that with that, we're talking about making a decision, and then you temper that with discipline. You gotta have to be disciplined. I personally, I like discipline. I love it. I get up in the morning. I'm not in the mood to go running or exercise. I'm not in the mood, but I do it. And guess what? That's discipline. That's me fighting this BS conversation inside of me, saying stay in bed, relax. I get out and do it, and I feel awesome. And again, that's my first win of the day. Actually, no, my second win. My first win is making my bed. Make the bed, and that's my first win of the day.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like that whole idea of making the bed as well. So part of that morning routine. Let's start on the. And for those of you that haven't, heard much about morning routine, we talk about it a lot. It's got to be one of the fundamental pillars of success, isn't it? In life, having that discipline in the morning to do the repeatable tasks that are going to put you in the right positive frame of mind, because there's plenty of things that will allow you to take a negative route. If you let it, especially if the first thing you do is look at your phone, turn the telly on and watch the news. I stopped watching the news years ago, maybe a decade ago. All they do is feed negativity. And, anything. And I'll trust me, guys. I've had some people get really quite angry with me about it. It's really weird. People get quite angry with me that I don't pay attention. I haven't got a clue about politics. I haven't got a clue about. I believe something's going on in Afghanistan. I'm not really quite sure what it is. People get quite angry with me about this, but trust me, you find out if anything important is going on. You do find out.
You do.
For me, I don't need to know what's going on in the news.
And what I say to anyone is, and I know why they get angry with you, and they would get angry with me too, is because they think we don't care. But that's why, and people think we don't care, or they think you're not listening to them. But the ultimate thing is, everybody out there, we've got 1,440 minutes per day, but you're awake for 16 hours. Should we say 16, 17 hours? What are you going to do with your time? And just like Grant, I refuse to watch the news. I'm not interested. Or should I say, I'm not interested in sitting there watching a box tell me how bad the world is, because that's what's going to tell you. And I'm never going to miss out because someone's going to tell me. They're going to tell me the highlights, so I know. But I don't want to sit there and have to listen to that. It's there. I can't change it. I can give people my time. It's there. But what I'm saying to everyone is, if you're looking to change your mindset, you've got to do everything you can, as Robin Sharma says, and I agree. You've got to guard your mind. And it's one of the things I always tell people: guard your mind. Put it on a post-it note. Guard your mind, because what you feed your mind is like, would you put shit into your car? Shit fuel. Would you treat your whatever you value badly? You wouldn't. So why are you treating your mind badly? So whatever you feed is so important into your mind, and it does start first thing in the morning, and let's end with last thing at night. If I could pass some tips on while we're here.
Yes, please.
Number one, run away from the news. Don't watch the news. You'll go to bed in a bad mood, or thinking the world is shit. Number two, watch your diet. If you're going to feed yourself shit before you go to bed, it will affect you. It will affect you. My first degree was biochemistry, so I learned all about sugars and all that decades ago, back in the 90s. And if you're going to feed yourself sugar and all that stuff before you go to bed, you're more likely to have a worse night's sleep. That's proven. Number three, block out curtains. You'll have a better night's sleep. Put your tech in a different room. That bit requires discipline. You're going to put the phone in a different room because the part of your brain will be thinking, what am I missing out? Who's texting me? What am I missing out? That's what it's saying. And that is why you are fighting your hands to go and reach for the phone, So if people can start practicing those before they go to bed, you'll have a much better night's sleep.
Yeah, totally agree with that one. And I think that the news one is something you might want to try, guys. A lot of people get addicted to the news, don't they? They're kind of, they're habitually, wanting to keep up to speed with what's going on. It's not good because the news is, it's just perpetually negative. You've probably got 80, 90% negative and maybe 10% good news. It should be the other way around. There's a lot good going on in the world. But I've got a feed on my Facebook actually. It's the Positive News channel. That might be worth looking at, guys, if any of you want to sort of feed your brain with positivity. But I like David, I would advise put the news out. Right, I think we're about done with time. As ever, pleasure, David. Lots of sage advice there. Positive mental attitudes is your responsibility, guys, and it starts from the moment you open your eyes. So we will see you in a couple of weeks' time, and take care. Have a great weekend, great bank holiday, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Cheers, guys.
See you soon. Thank you, Grant.